Straight ahead on IU NewsNet, the bodies of two IU Kelley students who went missing at Lake Monroe have been recovered. We'll tell you how it happened.
And mass shootings in America now average one a day. What is that doing to the mental health of the generations growing up with random violence that has become routine? Some mental health survival tips ahead.
And Purdue banned TikTok on his campus Wi-Fi. Is IU going to be next? You'll hear how some students feel about the wave of restrictions threatening social media. IU NewsNet starts now.
Hello and welcome to IU NewsNet. I'm Ashton Hackman.
And I'm Liz DeSantis. What began as a beautiful day with friends on Lake Monroe has ended in a double tragedy. Indiana conservation officers recovered the bodies of two Kelley students from Lake Monroe this week. It comes several days after they drowned as one student tried to rescue the other. It happened last weekend on a warm day while a group of almost 24 friends was out boating on a double-decker party boat, only some wearing life jackets. DNR officials say that windy conditions delayed recovery efforts in the 4-day-long search. Officials identified the two students as 20-year-old Aryan Vaidya and 19-year-old Siddhant Shah. The water temperature of Lake Monroe Saturday was just slightly above 50 degrees.
It is just imperative that if you're going to be out there on the water in that lake, especially with cooler water conditions, that you have that life jacket on, get it properly buckled, and just wear it.
Officers found alcohol in the boat, but haven't determined if it played a factor in the tragedy.
Tense moments on campus yesterday after several people spotted a man walking down Indiana Avenue with what appears to be a sword. Check this out. This photo was snapped by a bystander who said the man was casually waving around the sword near Franklin Hall around noon yesterday. A staff member in the media school called 911. IUPD responded on scene and attempted to locate the individual, but was unable to find him. People who saw the man said that the situation felt a bit off.
For safety, for your guys' safety, my safety, it should have been called in right when someone saw it. I don't know why it wasn't.
Now, IU did not push an IU Notify alert to students. It is legal in the state of Indiana to carry a concealed or open sword in public. However, it does violate state law to carry that sword onto school grounds or college campuses.
Someone anonymously surrendered a newborn baby in Bloomington this month by placing it in what's called a safe haven baby box. The box is at the fire district office on South Kennedy Drive. The boxes give parents safe options for turning over their babies without consequences when they can't care for them themselves. The baby triggers an alarm at the fire station less than a minute after it's placed in the box.
Once that infant is taken from the box, it is medically evaluated by the paramedics on staff. And then taken to the closest hospital, evaluated by a physician, and then placed in the protection of the Department of Child Services for about 30 days to give the parent 30 days to change their mind if they choose, and then the child is placed with a forever family within 30 to 45 days.
This is the first baby to be surrendered in Monroe County and the fourth baby surrendered through Safe Haven in the state of Indiana this year.
Indianapolis hosted the annual convention for the National Rifle Association last weekend, attracting 77,000 gun supporters, along with some controversy. The event featured prominent Republican figures, including former President Donald Trump and former Vice President Mike Pence. Current Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb also spoke at the event. The convention attracted about a dozen protesters nearby, many of them voicing their frustration over several recent mass shootings. One woman was a graduate of Michigan State, the site of a recent mass shooting.
There's a Second Amendment right in this country, and I feel like too many people think that that trumps the rest of our right to feel safe. And I don't think that's right.
Indiana recently abolished the need for a permit to carry, concealed, or transport a gun.
Today marks the 24th anniversary of the mass shooting at Columbine High School. That's nearly a quarter of a century ago, and mass shootings have grown exponentially ever since here in the U.S. There were 7 of them just last Saturday. IU NewsNet's Dom Hyup reports on our generation that has grown up with this violence and the impact it has on our mental health.
April 10th, 5 people killed at a bank in Louisville when a gunman entered the building, live streaming his spree. 5 days later, 4 people shot and killed and 32 injured at a Sweet 16 party in Alabama. These are just 2 of more than 130 mass shooting incidents just this year. That averages to more than 1 per day. A uniquely American problem, and one that Gen X, Y, and Z know well.
People feel that almost anywhere they can go that they have to look at where the exit is or what their safety plan is. So it is taking a longer term psychological toll on the broader mental health of our population, even if we have never directly experienced this.
In a survey last year, 74% of adults listed mass shootings as a significant stressor in their lives. Pew Research indicates that the majority of students are worried it could happen at their school.
Dr. Felix says that mass shootings impact people like a pebble does a pool of water. It ripples outward. The further out it goes, the less severe it gets, but it still has a significant impact.
Those who are directly impacted are the most likely to require clinical help, but they're not the only ones. Psychologists say reactions vary from grief to exhaustion to compassion fatigue.
Everybody's generally bound to end up in that situation with the statistics right now. And I definitely have become a little numb to it, just in the sense that every single day there's shooting, mass shooting, this.
Reaching out and connecting with other people that are grieving is one of the best things that you can do. Getting that social support, going to the community events that help people come together and process these kinds of huge events are all helpful.
For IU NewsNet, I'm Dom Hyab.
As graduation approaches, many seniors are looking for jobs, and what worries many job seekers is not just whether they will find a job, it's the questions companies are asking on job applications. Ashley Horner has the story for us.
Naya Seidel-Nepper is less than 2 weeks from getting her diploma in advertising. But she, like other IU students, has encountered something on job applications she didn't expect. Questions about race, gender, and sexuality.
Being Filipino, a little bit, I'm clearly very white, but being Filipino, sometimes I'm like, will it help me if I put this on my job application or should I not? And I don't know, it's been a weird thing with me because it's so little Filipino that I'm like, is this gonna help me?
The reasons companies might ask race-based questions may sound counterintuitive, but it's because of this federal law called the Equal Employment Act of 1972, which prohibits job discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. Job seekers can choose to not specify, but students wonder if that has a different effect. Associate Professor Deborah Wittes is an expert on employment gender discrimination.
The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which is the federal agency that enforces anti-discrimination laws, and then a separate entity at the Department of Labor that deals with federal contractors, can look at the information submitted and sort of try to assess whether there are problems like a pay gap on the basis of race or on the basis of sex.
But even with laws in place, it's still hard for job seekers to find peace of mind. So while there are no guarantees companies will use your information as they should,
I think most companies understand the distinction between collecting that information so that they could do an assessment at some point and make sure that it's not unintentionally discriminating, and using that information in a discriminatory way.
For IU NewsNet, I'm Ashley Horner.
When we come back, are bigger jails better jails? NewsNet's Kai and Tara is back to talk about the politics of jail facilities.
Plus, would you donate your bone marrow or stem cells to a stranger in need? We'll hear about it, one organization dedicated to just that. Welcome back to IU NewsNet. All this month, we brought you special reports about what the sheriff calls a growing crisis at the Monroe County Jail. The conditions are bad and getting worse. IU NewsNet's Kayan Tara has spent the semester looking into the problem and the proposed solutions. Kayan.
We call this series The Last Appeal because time to do something is running out. But inadequate and often inhumane conditions are not only a problem here in Monroe County. Indiana's incarceration rates are among the highest in the nation. Data and experts tell us that Monroe County is just one example of a growing crisis when it comes to local jails. A warning, some upcoming footage might be disturbing to you as it includes violence between jail staff and an incarcerated person. Monroe County is one of the many counties in Indiana having conversations about building a bigger jail. This makes Indiana one of the top 5 states with plans for the most jail growth. But the execution of these plans is often unclear. This leads to neglected facilities, mounting lawsuits, and worst of all, inhumane treatment of incarcerated people.
I don't want to provide any legitimacy to the criminal legal system in doing that. We don't want to turn our jails and prisons into mental health institutions, which is happening throughout. It's not just Monroe County.
Bloomington's social worker, Donnell, is referring to incidents of violence and neglect of incarcerated people. The cycle of funneling money into local jails, Donnell says, has consequences.
Into a criminal legal system rather than prevention, treatment, funding the community supports and therapy and housing and childcare.
Indiana spends over $242 million a year on county jails, with a cost of $54 per Indiana resident, and an average daily cost of $48 per incarcerated person. An expert on the criminal justice system says costs continue to mount if larger facilities are built. And since county jails operate on limited local budgets, the cost of maintaining infrastructure can be extremely costly.
Our citizens are asked to pay a lot of money for a lot of people to go to jail and prison, and they don't want to do it. And so then you cut corners.
This leads communities to have unanswered questions, and justice is far from being served. Issues in Monroe County Jail have been long concerns. Recent reports and increased attention has been putting pressure on county officials to address these challenges.
Now, Kayan, would you say that any of this increased attention brought on this issue has led to any actual changes?
Well, you know, advocacy groups have been pushing for reform to improve conditions in county jails. This includes overcrowding, providing adequate medical care, and increased access to mental health services. The answers to these questions are far from simple, but experts do say that bringing awareness to these unconstitutional conditions is an important step forward.
Thank you, Kayan, for your reporting in this series. We appreciate it. The semester is almost over, but another Greek house has shown up on the police log, this time for illegal drugs. The IU police log indicates marijuana and cocaine were among illegal drugs found at the Chi Phi fraternity house, but the chapter has not been placed on cease and desist and is not under disciplinary actions from the university at this time. But the police case remains open. Purdue's recent TikTok ban on its campus Wi-Fi has students and staff wondering if IU might follow suit. If the university bans the platform, the implications could reach farther than just blocking the app from the Wi-Fi network. IU NewsNet's Jonathan Breckler has the story.
TikTok is a way of life for students on the IU campus and people just about everywhere. How might they react if IU follows Purdue's TikTok ban on campus Wi-Fi?
I'd be upset. I mean, I spend like all my nights on TikTok. Me too. Like, that's basically how I go to bed, is just scrolling through TikTok.
Others say that limiting creative liberty is counterintuitive to a liberal arts college.
I also see it as a form of expression and getting the word out on important things, so I think that would be antithetical to a university to do something like that.
In a recent survey, more than 80% of college-age students reported using TikTok. But some students say if there's a ban, they expect to see a new platform gain popularity.
I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing an app like Climb to the Top that's pretty much the same thing.
The ban under consideration would even affect some universities who use the app for recruitment and outreach. IU has its own verified TikTok account, which has more than 40,000 followers. The issue at the heart of the matter? Data privacy, since TikTok is a Chinese-owned company.
TikTok doesn't collect any more information than, let's say, Instagram or Twitter, or, Google knows more about me than my partner of 4 years does.
Kraut-Kramer also says that through VPN services or data plans, students would be able to easily bypass any university ban.
Since universities can only control their own Wi-Fi networks, you could be able to access TikTok by turning off your Wi-Fi and turning on your cellular data.
If the ban can't effectively stop students from using TikTok, there might be other reasons for banning the app.
I ultimately don't think it's going to affect whether or not people are using the platform, right? It's purely a political move.
For IU NewsNet, I'm Jonathan Breckler.
IU President Pamela Whitten announced an initiative to support student and faculty startup ventures across all IU campuses. What she calls IU Innovates will launch this fall from the Von Lee Building on Kirkwood. The initiative will work with existing IU pitch competitions and create a guided program to support groups of faculty and students with new business ideas. IU Innovates hopes to expand the university networks in industries like biotechnology and artificial intelligence.
The Kelley School of Business has a brand new ranking and a brand new dean. Ash Soni stepped into the position this week, and the school is now ranked in the top 10 worldwide for business schools in terms of research. This makes it the only business school in Indiana to break the top 30. University of Texas at Dallas's worldwide rankings said the output of research by the Kelley faculty was more than any other school in the Big Ten, producing 235 articles published from 2018 to 2022. Kelley was also named second in terms of public programs and ninth for American business schools in general.
Little 500 is the biggest bike race in college, but if you're planning on coming, it's going to be a car race to get there. Construction by North Walnut Street and North College Avenue at 17th Street is causing backups north, south, and everywhere in between. Both College and Walnut are down to one lane near 17th Street. That area is just over a mile away from Bill Armstrong Stadium. Fans need to bring their patience or at least plan a different route. If you learned you could save the life of someone you don't know, would you do it? Gift of Life is an organization dedicated to finding matches for life-saving bone marrow and stem cell donations. Meet someone who took 5 minutes to sign up and ended up making all the difference. IU NewsNet's Olivia Oliver has the story.
Brendan Kappen has saved a life, and he has no idea whose.
I may never be in the same country or continent as them, let alone, in the same place.
It started with a cheek swab and ended with a stem cell donation. There was a less than 1% chance he'd be a match for anyone, but he was, for a 58-year-old man battling late-stage leukemia.
It was just a large amount of shock.
Gift of Life is a national organization that sets up tabling events all over the country, including IU, to find donors for stem cells and bone marrow.
Do you have 3 minutes to save a life?
Those in the organization say it can be surreal.
Sometimes it gives me actual chills is thinking about you could be standing in front of someone swabbing them, and there's a chance that in a couple months or in a couple years they could actually be the person that saved someone's life.
All it takes is a kit like this one that you can have sent right to your house. It involves a cheek swab and a quick survey, and the whole thing takes about under 5 minutes. The goal is to establish a broad registry of potential donors, since just 0.04% end up being called as a donor, and even fewer actually go through with the procedure. The donation process is free, and for stem cells, it's very similar to donating plasma. The recipient Kappen donated to opted not to meet him, and they'll probably never meet. Yet if Kappen gets that call again, he said he knows his answer.
I have something that works. If I have the potential to help somebody that at most is like a minor inconvenience for me, I don't see why I wouldn't.
For IU NewsNet, I'm Olivia Oliver.
That donor is now a campus ambassador at the Rochester Institute of Technology. If you'd like to join the registry, you can visit giftoflife.org.
When we come back, a story I've been waiting to see. A new craze is exploding onto campus, and it's in the form of pickleball. What's the big deal? Stay tuned to find out more.
And it's finally race week in Bloomington. The 2023 Little 500 is almost here, and we have your preview. IU NewsNet Sports is coming up.
Welcome back to IU NewsNet. Evan Kamikow is in studio for sports, and Evan, it's the greatest college weekend.
And the last sportscast of the semester. Tickets are going pretty fast. Have you gotten your Little 5 tickets yet?
Oh, I wouldn't miss my last Little 500 for the world.
I believe that.
I'm desperately searching for one, so if someone has one, I'll take it.
I'll let you know. I might have some people. I'll be on sideline for the race. It's going to be a lot of fun. But let's get right into it. Little 500. Yeah, the start of the race is less than 24 hours away, and IU's school spirit is in full swing. IU NewsNet's Lucinda Larnack tells us a little bit more about just how special this weekend really is.
A year of dedication and grit and only 2 days in April to prove it. One for the men and one for the women. A race with incredible breakaways, surprising losses, but more, a race that keeps fans on their feet.
And race day, I always tell people, it's the day you get to show off. You've put in the hard work. It's done. This is your time to kind of shine.
Time to shine, rain or shine, in front of stands packed with students, faculty and alums who come back to campus to an iconic IU tradition. The pandemic put a damper on what's billed as the world's greatest college weekend. Now it's time to put a spotlight on the talent, teamwork and training of the riders.
It's just like, I think seeing that hard work finally pay off has been just an exciting moment for us. It's just like a culmination of the past 3 years. I think for us, we've like given a lot to biking, so I think it's really exciting, but it's also a little like bittersweet.
If you're not going to be at the stadium this weekend to watch it, you'll either be watching it here or enjoying it here.
No matter where riders place this weekend, there will be emotions flowing after the race.
I'm not gonna lie, I think at the end of the race I'm gonna cry or be just like super excited at the same time.
The line between joy and tears is so much more than the finish line.
This race is so much more than a bike race.
For IU NewsNet, I'm Lucinda Larnack.
There's just something magical about the Little 500. Anyway, to the diamond we go. Indiana softball is having a historic season. Brianna Copeland leads the pitching staff, and she is equally great at bat. But what's her secret? Just asked her mom, who may be her most supportive mom ever. Our own Ryan Costello has the story.
Have you ever been at an IU softball game and heard this chant? And wondered who it is? Well, that's Carol Copeland, mother of star Indiana softball player Brianna Copeland. Brianna is a sophomore 2A utility player for the Hoosiers, who not only leads the pitching staff in wins, but can also hit the ball pretty well. When Bri got the offer to come play softball at Indiana University, this is what she said to her mom.
All this hard work has finally paid off, and it's like, I did it, Mom. We did it.
Despite the Copelands being from Alabama and Mom Carol still living there, she makes the drive to just about all IU home games, which is over 7 hours.
Well, I've done it so many times. It's easy. I don't even use GPS anymore.
Last year, when Carol was still working, she had a schedule of how she would make it to every game.
When I was working last year, I would take off on Fridays, every Friday for 2 months. I did it for February, March, and April.
Because she loves supporting her daughter and the softball team so much, she started using some letters last season to do something to pump up the crowd.
The next game, I said, I got to do something. So I went to Hobby Lobby, and I got these letters right here. This is how I started. And then a parent told me about to the end of the season that I needed larger letters. So I went and got these letters. All right. And then I just been so excited because they've been winning, and they've been doing everything. So now I have these letters.
Why does she bring so much energy at the games?
I love cheering. I love to motivate the team. I want them to win. I want them to believe in themselves, and I want them to never give up.
Not as long as Carol Copeland is there with her red, white, and For IU NewsNet, I'm Ryan Costello.
I think I need to get some of those IU letters myself for my next apartment. To the pool we go, as the IU women's water polo team has the most in-season wins in 5 years. They've spent a lot of time out west, including this past weekend. The Hoosiers took on a league opponent, the San Jose Spartans, last Saturday. IU was ahead the whole game and finished with a 7-6 victory. On Sunday, the women left no question of their dominance as they beat Santa Clara 19-1. They are seeded 5th, the highest seed in program history.
Solidifying our 5th place seed into the tournament is really exciting, since this is the first time we've done that, and now we have an automatic play-in to the semis, so we're really excited about that.
It's back to California next week to play in their MPSF conference tournament. A new commissioner has been named for the Big Ten Conference. Tony Petitti, formerly the chief operating officer of Major League Baseball from 2014 to 2020, has been named the successor to former Commissioner Kevin Warren, who left to become the president and CEO of the Chicago Bears. Petitti has over 40 years of sports experience. He's a 14-time National Sports Emmy Award winner who worked at CBS and ABC. Petitti will take over as the Big Ten is undergoing its largest expansion ever, with UCLA and USC set to join the conference next year. To a more peculiar sport, have you ever tried your hand at the nation's most popular sport right now? Well, it's pickleball, and Bloomington is getting in on the craze. IU NewsNet's Evan Gerke shows us why.
It's the wiffle ball of tennis. It has famous investors like Tom Brady and Kevin Durant.
Out.
Its popularity is growing rapidly, both nationwide and here on campus.
Wow, you hit that though.
It's pickleball, the fastest growing sport in the country.
Like as a junior in high school, I never even heard of it. And then as right now, a lot of people talk about it and want to play.
The Sports and Fitness Industry Association says pickleball participation is up 187% since 2017. You don't need to be athletic to play pickleball, making it easy for people to pick up a paddle and start playing.
And we saw people playing pickleball on our tennis courts without pickleball lines. So we're always looking for any way that we can get folks engaged in something that's fun, easy, healthy, active.
At IU, that led to a logical conclusion. Give students a place to play. Now, there's pickleball lines on the SRSC tennis courts.
It's really nice because you can just go after class and just play a couple quick games and then go back to studying. It's nice just having it here.
Across the city, Switchyard Park had courts added for its opening in 2019. Rec Sports was having conversations about pickleball spaces around the same time.
It's been a while. We've been talking about this for a long time. At least 5 years. We've kind of been in conversation about this, but this year is the year where it felt like, okay, there is so much demand out there, we've got to figure something out.
Maybe, and it's a big maybe, there might be some dedicated pickleball courts on campus soon. For IU NewsNet, I'm Evan Gerke.
Students can rent pickleball paddles and balls from the SRSC with their Crimson card if they want to play. And Liz, Ashton, I don't know about you, but I'm looking for a pickleball partner right now. So if either of you would like to join me on the courts, please feel free to.
I got some quick feet. I think I can move around. I've played a few times. We could take some names.
Great team. Any name?
No name suggestions, but I'm definitely going to bring my popcorn to see you guys hit the court.
Well, if you got any name suggestions, let Ashton and I know. That's all for sports.
Thanks, Evan. One more thing before we go, as we head into Little 500, a big party weekend on campus. The Indiana Lifeline Law provides immunity from prosecution for many alcohol-related offenses that require medical assistance. If someone is incapacitated and you're worried about their condition, make the call to emergency responders, even if you're underage. The law also applies to survivors of certain sex offenses and if you witness a crime. You just have to call and cooperate with law enforcement at the scene. The Lifeline was passed to save lives because students worry about facing charges for intoxication, possession, and transportation, and often delay getting help. But have fun and stay safe this weekend. Now, this is our last show of the semester and the final IU NewsNet ever for our graduating seniors who have joined me up here.
Yeah, you probably heard them shuffling in behind. You guys are on to bigger, better things. Many of you have jobs already lined up. We're going to miss you guys.
As always, thanks to our production crew back there in the control room. And for the other graduates, I'm Liz DeSantis.
I'm Ashton Hackman. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, and we'll see you here next semester.